let's take it back. I know we've harped on this before, but it's very on brand. The whole thing with Solo, it suffered because there was a lack of Roman driving the narrative. He was a participant, and he was pretty much the final boss in the video game that doesn't have a lot of dialogue. And the dialogue is what makes things memorable. It's what ties it into the narrative and gives you insight into what the motivations are. Obviously, he wasn't happy with Solo usurping him and taking over as a tribal chief, but how did he even uh, get to that point? Like there wasn't any kind of there was a lack of true depth between Roman and Solo's relationship, and then even when Roman came back, there were I think the most he talked about with Solo was when they were having the acknowledge off, and he was pretty much saying, "Oh, well, you could just get rid of all this and just acknowledge me," and Roman said he wasn't gonna, or whatever.
You would never do it or something like
Yeah,
that.
and it's just like, so what was the whole thing about? I mean, they could have talked about uh like the fact that that was Solo's plan all along. He was power hungry, or just anything.
And you know what's probably the most disappointing part? Even if you're not gonna have Roman show up after he actually won that tribal combat match, why can't you just have him do a video and just show it on the show about him just talk, at least acknowledging the actual match? No pun intended. It's just actually acknowledging the actual match, and that he won. At least saying something. But other than that, you don't see him again into the Royal Rumble, and just like, are they still doing this
No,
storyline? Like, what's going on with the storyline? Like, are they just waiting until Tonga Loa gets back so the best guy can make it more interesting when he comes back? So, like, what are they doing right now?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It made zero sense. Just Roman, they're. I feel like at this point they're hurting him because it's becoming more. There's more fluff than substance.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I actually really do like Roman Reigns, but I don't think that uh, his character has as much depth as what it previously did. And I think the tribal chief character, it was peak when it came to like maybe like the first year and a half, 2 years, when he was involved with the Usos, like the Hell in a Cell work, and he was working his way through the roster. But as the bloodline got larger and became more and more repetitive, even then they found ways to keep it fresh with Sami Zayn and like the characters that was actually Roman's idea to include Sami. So I mean, Roman is he has the mind for it, but I don't know what their overarching plan is at this point, because I think universally we can admit now, I think it's safe to admit that the bloodline is not as captivating as it once was. And I don't think that it needs to be the focal point. Like there's other storylines and characters on the show, but they're not getting the same amount of investment in it.
Yeah, I would say the only thing that's keeping some type of pulse with the bloodline storyline is Jacob, and technically that's not necessarily the bloodline story. It's just Jacob that you're more interested in. But he is starting to interact with Solo, so maybe that will become more interesting. But you did send me that post about reporting that Roman wanted to actually spend more time backstage with the guys. Do you think that was actually true?
Oh yeah, I think that he said that. So I saw the
Yeah,
interview where
but
he said that.
but do you think that's actually true, or him actually saying that though?
Yeah,
And
because
why doesn't he? Do you
well,
feel?
that's the thing, because I mean, because there's a funny thing you could do to fix that.
So
Even if
that's why I asked. Do you think that shit is actually true? He's just saying that for the fans.
I do, but I think we're just fans. We're ignorant to a lot of the stuff that goes on. I don't know what he's working outside of wrestling.
Hmm.
That could be his other priorities that we just don't need to know about. That's very much so possible. But the him saying that he wishes he could be. I just sent it to you because I thought it was very ironic, because it's like, I miss being backstage with the boys and being on the road, and being able to have that locker room camaraderie. And it's like, well, it's
You
pretty
telling me you
simple.
telling me you went to Triple H? He's like, I want to be up. He want to be on in backstage on the road more. He was like, no. That's what you're telling me right now. Or did you not just go up to him and ask him that because you don't actually want to do that? It just
Yeah,
let me know. Just
I
like
mean,
because you have the best schedule ever. So if you come on now, come on, Roman.
the best. Yeah, not only does he not show up for work, he doesn't show up for work, and the coworkers live.